The ACT instruments from MTF bring a higher level of precision and ease to the transplantation of allograft cartilage than previously available. The ACT instruments cover lesion diameters of 15, 18, 20, 22, 25, 30, and 35 millimeters. Size-specific instruments are grouped together in individual small containers and are color-coded for ease of identification. The lesion gauge, which determines the graft size required, works on the principle of a tripod to attain perpendicularity. The equidistant spacing of the lesion gauge legs provides the best stability on the curved surface of articular cartilage. Guide pins incorporate a drill point for fast insertion. The shafts are calibrated in 10 mm increments for depth recognition at the proximal end of the lesion gauge. The lesion reamer prepares a smooth implant site through its unique cutting geometry. The lesion reamer will score the outer edge first, then prepare the site, ensuring a smooth cartilage wall. Cartilage and bone are eliminated quickly, while the reamer cuts at a low temperature. A cylindrical depth gauge fits precisely into the prepared site, giving accurate depth measurements circumferentially. Use a skin pen to mark the 12, 4, and 8 o'clock positions directly on the gauge. The graft maker creates the graft, cutting smoothly and at a low temperature. Generous flutes expel debris quickly. Advancement of the graft maker can be monitored through the depth measurement slots provided in 10 mm increments. If the graft maker is advanced completely through the allograft, the graft can be removed by separating the graft maker sections and pushing the graft out from the cancellous side, protecting the cartilage portion of the graft. Tamps are constructed with a concave plastic impaction surface. When tamping, only the outer section of the graft comes in contact with the impaction surface, helping to protect the cartilage. The graft station holds the allograft securely for preparation of the implant. The alignment guide adjusts to the optimal position for creating the cartilage graft and provides excellent visualization during implant creation. Two well-spaced handles allow an assistant to add extra stability during graft preparation. After the implant has been prepared, fine-tuning of the depth can be accomplished using the shaving pad. Chamfering the graft edges can be accomplished quickly and easily by using the chamfering tool. The implants are cut to depth using the diameter-specific graft forceps. The cartilage is protected during cutting by the step-off of the forceps jaw. The forceps hold the graft securely without touching the cartilage edge, while the saw cuts the implant to the desired depth. Choose a lesion gauge that covers the lesion completely. One of the legs will be at your 12 o'clock position. The other two legs are at the 4 and 8 o'clock positions. This triangulation pattern provides the best stability on the varying curvatures of articular cartilage and ensures perpendicularity. Place the guide pin through the center of the lesion gauge and drill to a sufficient depth. The calibrations on the pin indicate your depth of penetration. Using a skin pen, mark the cartilage at the 12, 4, and 8 o'clock positions. Select the lesion reamer of the same color code as the lesion gauge. The lesion reamer will score the cartilage prior to preparing the hole. Advanced cutting design allows for operation at low temperature, while the generous fluting along the side of the reamer permits rapid debris expulsion. Advance to the desired depth while irrigating. Markings on the side of the reamer indicate depth in millimeters. Place the depth gauge into the reamed hole and take measurements at the 12, 4, and 8 o'clock positions. You can place marks directly on the depth gauge. Place the allograft in an optimal position within the graft station. Insert the appropriate bushing into the alignment guide. Place the lesion gauge used in the first step into the guide. With the clamping mechanism unlocked, move the guide around until the best fit is obtained in all planes. Move the clamp handle into the locked position. Mark the 12 o'clock position and extend the mark into the area that will become the implant. Place the appropriate graft maker instrument into the graft station guide. Advance the graft maker through the allograft to the desired depth. Although the ACT instruments cut at a low temperature, irrigation is recommended while creating the graft. Depth can be monitored through the viewing slots, each sized in 10 mm increments. Using a sagittal saw, make a cut across the allograft below the maximum depth desired. This will facilitate graft removal. Remove the allograft from the graft station and remove the prepared graft. Alternatively, the graft maker can be advanced through the entire allograft. To retrieve the implant, remove the graft maker cutting section from the driver. Push the graft out from the bone side to protect the cartilage surface. Transfer the depth measurements to the graft. Place the graft into the graft forceps, lining up the depth markings with the underside of the forceps jaws. Lock the forceps in position. The jaws are contoured so as to not damage the cartilage portion of the graft. Using the sagittal saw, trim the graft to size. If the depth markings are equal at all 3 points, place the graft in the graft station cutting jig. Position the graft at the desired cutting depth using the calibrated gauge as a guide. Lock the graft in place. Use the saw to make a perpendicular cut. Place the graft into the reamed hole, matching the 12 o'clock position on the graft with the same position on the patient's cartilage, and press fit as far as possible with finger pressure. Place the appropriate tamp over the graft and gently tap on the top plate to finish graft placement. Only the edge of the graft will come in contact with the tamp, helping to preserve cartilage integrity. To experience a more precise and faster cartilage transplant surgery, act with confidence.